while I introduce myself, while I do that, while I go on endlessly about myself, would you please register here? It really helps us. It really helps us to keep doing these things. And this actually is a tutorial on IBM Granite for software development. So I think it's going to be super useful. It's going to be relevant to what you can be doing. But as I talk about myself, please do feel free to switch off a little bit and to register for this fantastic program, because I think it's going to be really useful beyond this session. So, yeah, my name is John. Yes, I'm a professor at UCL. I work very close with Professor Mohammed Ali and Professor Roberts, and also Professor Huiyan, particularly around projects and mentorship. I work as a master inventor in the Hersey Laboratory, and also I look after academic programs in the UK and Ireland as well. And because I because I'm probably a little bit lazy, I try and make all those things one thing rather than three different things. So the intersection of all those are projects that use cutting edge technology, the latest IBM technology, open source technology, and we apply them to tech for good. So we solve problems. We solve problems for everybody, but for children who maybe have challenged abilities, for the elderly, we've created some amazing applications, and we are working on projects at the moment using AI and augmented reality for a very serious healthcare provider in the UK, along with our business partners. So it's a whole range of things that we do, and it's all incredibly positive. And with that, I'm going to assume that you've had enough time to register. Sign up using Gmail's fine. It's the quickest way of doing it. And just, yeah, go to activity, start it, but keep it for later on, because don't do it now. Don't do it now, because we've got Huiyan Roy and Shubham Sharma, who are two not only very, very lovely people, and one from Germany, one from Ireland. So it's international. We've got international speakers today, and two of the most eminent SMEs in IBM. And they're going to talk to you about their experience of IBM Granite for software development. Yeah, so I'm going to now stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to hand over to these very lovely people to present facts and wisdom to you. But thank you very much for listening to my introduction, and I wish you the very best. I think you're going to enjoy this one. Take care. Speak
Okay.
soon.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you, John. Thank you, Dean, for this warm introduction. My name is Huiyan Roy. I work for IBM Germany Lab for Data and AI. I've been working for over 18 years for IBM mainframe customers, creating solutions for data analytics. And in IBM, I'm currently working on a text to SQL project, translating human language text into SQL for databases for mainframe customers using a pipeline of Granite models. Again, here, Granite models. We special train them and then use it for our purposes. I do also teach in universities in Germany. I teach in University Tübingen, which is one of the oldest one in Germany, enterprise computing course. So I really love to talk with students and hear from these intelligent students and from their heads what they have and what they produce. So really glad to meet the smart students of UCL today and have the opportunity, yeah, just to show you the Granite models that we're working on and what it can do for you. I think this is a good chance of sharing with each other and learning also from each other. I hope you could see my screen well, so I'll proceed to the next page. Yeah, talking about AI and machine learning, IBM has a really long history. You can see back in 1997, IBM has Deep Blue, which is an AI-driven computer, already did something really great, catching the eyes of everyone. It defeated the chess player #1 at that time, the chess grandmaster, Garry Kasparov. So, and this was AI made a history already at that time. In 2011, IBM Watson won a famous US quiz show. It's called Jeopardy! Jeopardy wasn't just a little trivial game, not just only a small show, but actually requires deep knowledge, quick thinking, and the ability to understand complex questions and complex words. So that was amazing. So amazing history, but IBM did not stop there. For the cognitive computing era, as you can see, the lower part of the, from 2008, 2009, starting there until now, IBM has delivered IBM Watson. So IBM Watson data and AI platform. So as you can see, this is a platform that delivers models for building, training, and deploy AI models, but also ability to access all kinds of data and integrate these data into different platforms. So be it, you name it, mainframe data, be it from distributed platform, be it from cloud, be it structured or unstructured data, be it from SQL or NoSQL, vector databases, be it what format it is, data lake, data warehouse, or lakehouse, whatever. So this is all integrated into this environment with AI enabled. And we also have Watson Code Assistant, which is a coding assistant for developers to use. So it uses, among other models, the Granite model to help the development process. So let me get to the screen. Right, so last year, IBM open sourced the Granite Foundation model so that everyone can really have the free access to the IBM models. So I'll move to the next page. We'll have a quick, short overview of the Granite models, what it has, the variants, the categories, and the performance of everything. So as you can see, we have base models and instruct models. The base models are the models serving as a starting point for your task, the pre-trained foundational models. They are the core models providing functionalities. And the instruct models are the ones that are fine-tuned versions. They're based on the base models, but then they're built to be more responsive for questions, for specific instructions. So from these variants, we also have variants of many different parameter settings. There is 1 billion parameters until 34 billion parameters, really a big range of many variants. And we have categories of Granite models for different usage. Granite for code, for coding, code generation, explanation, code editing, all the things that you can do with coding. Granite for time series. These are the models for forecasting, for time series forecasting. They're pre-trained as well. Granite Guardian. These are the models for safeguarding enterprise data security. Granite for geospatial data. This is the model that NASA and IBM use together. For geospatial data, especially Earth observation data, satellite data, or remote sensing data, this is used here. And Granite embedding models. These are the models that are enhanced to understand the user intent. So this has a bi-encoder architecture to understand, to have the enhancement. So the performance of Granite models is really amazing. It actually outperforms all those major strong open source models. So let me show you, some slides here. Actually, there's a link that documents this big performance achievement and comparison with other strong models of the world. But let me just show you a small snippet of it. So basically, as you can see, the comparison here is with as you can see, the first 1, 2, 3, 4 pictures, graphics. The blue one is IBM Granite model. So in generating code, in explaining code, and in fixing code, it all has got better performance comparing with the other models. Excuse me. So, okay, so this one makes the average also comparably much better. Together for, okay, so the above ones are the base models comparison. The instruct models are the second, the middle pictures. So in generating code, explaining code, IBM Granite models is performing better as well. In fixing code, one other model, this is a Google model, works better slightly, and in average IBM model works better. So you might be asking, what are these? What is the what is the comparison made on? So what are the benchmarks? Here, the benchmarks are the human eval benchmarks. As you can see, for human eval, synthesize, explain, and fix. These are the models that the benchmarks that are being used. The synthesize model benchmark is for code generation. So if you see the last picture here, Granite model, which is the blue one, in the performance with other languages like C++, Java, Rust, Python. So you can see the performance comparison comparing with the other ones. Explain is for code explanation, and fix is for code fixing. So just to give you an overview, if you're interested, go to the link and look at the information in details. So Granite code models, we have also here a quick view what it gives you. It is trained on 116 programming languages. It contains the trustworthy AI ethics, which means they are trained on the licensed permissible data, following the IBM AI ethics principles. So they're guided by the IBM legal team for enterprise usage. You know that for enterprise usage, the data license is really extremely important. That could cause a huge harm if the data is not licensed to be used. So it is extremely important that the data is trustworthy, is being trained on the trustworthy docs as well. It has Apache 2 license, which is free to use, modify, and distribute. How can you use the Granite code models? So there are different environments that you can use. There is this Watson Code Assistant individual environment. It used to be called Granite Code, but now it's, this is Watson Code Assistant. Actually, internally in IBM, we have Watson Code Assistant, just not an individual environment, but we have a general environment. But you can install this individual version by running an Ollama local runtime. There is a link here I provided to that provides you instructions how to generate, how to install everything to get it working on your local machine. You can, of course, also use the replicate environment, which is a link provided here from replicate.com. There is also this Watson Prompt Lab environment. This requires that you get a free IBM Cloud account. Go here to apply for it, and then use the Watson XAI for free. You probably want to go into this environment and see what IBM offers as models for you to use, to train, to work with. So really environment full of resources, and all, as I mentioned, with this data environment, all kinds of data linkers and how to link with different databases and different storages. So a really wealth of environment for you to test out and run your program. So Granite code models has a all-rounder code large language model, is an all-rounder code large language model. It includes generation, code explanation, documentation, fixing, single line completion, and multi-line suggestions. common to code, test cases generation, code translation, really everything that you need. My colleague will be giving you more details on this later, right away. So before we just, before I transfer, the microphone to him. The last one link that I would like to provide you is also what Professor Mohammed Lee provided to us. Actually, very important, very helpful one is the Granite 7B lab model that is being quantized into a 4-bit model, which is, serves the purpose of utilizing and finding out how much resource you have in your environment, where a lot of the machines, a lot of the hardware really have, limited resource. So, but how do you want to run such a model in such limited resource? So this is one example of how you can help, you can, run this expensive model into much more limited resource. So why not try it out, right? Thank you, Dean, for this nice link. I think the last page I have is just a few more links of exploring watsonx data and Granite key resources. There is this cloud link, also trying watsonx AI for free. There is the watsonx AI Developer Studio, and also a consolidated AI learning is really good information for a quick overview. In a couple of hours, you really get equipped with a lot of great information. And also how to build machine learning model. There is Granite cookbooks that is very good. It contains a lot of practical resources and information, how to run your code, how to code snippets. So feel free to take a look. Okay, so that's so much from me. I hand it over to my colleague, Shubham. You would continue with the rest of the slides.
Thank you so much, Huiyan. Thank you, Dean and John, also for the kind introduction. Hi, everyone. Just a quick introduction on me. I'm working with the security team, and my recent project involved integrating watsonx with our security platform called SOAR. I'll be soon working with watsonx Orchestrate, and part of my job involved testing different models because Watson gave us a good overview on how we can integrate different models. And spoiler alert, Granite 3 was a pretty good model to work with compared to the rest of them. So this was one of the interfaces that I used to experiment, which is provided by Watson itself. It's called the Prompt Lab, in which you can use in your custom prompts, you can put in your system prompts, and you can see how the output of the model will be like. This is not only limited to the Granite models, but you can experiment with Llama models, Mistral models, as well as the Google Flan models. And it also gives you space to experiment with the tuning parameters. So, yeah, moving on to the next slide. We also have Watson Code Assistant, wherein while you're coding in Visual Studio, you can just add in a comment and that comment would give you out the code. It's a pretty handy tool that I've used in the past, and I encourage everyone to do so. And also, a single line code completion is also supported in that regard. Moving on to the next slide. There are more features that can be leveraged using the Watson Code Assistant, that some of which Huiyan has talked about, which is you can get the entire documentation for a given class. You can also ask the code assistant to explain a given snippet, and you can also generate unit tests to see if your code is working well or not. Another handy tool was, translating code from, I believe you'll be more in touch with Python to C. So that's one thing that Watson Code Assistant also supports. Yeah. So Replicate was another tool that was used. It's open source and it has the recent Granite 3.1 models as well. Not only the 8 billion parameters, but also the 2 billion ones. And over here also you have a lot of freedom to, tune the parameters. You can change the prompts, you can change the parameters, you can change the existing system prompts, and you can do so you get the code in JSON, Node, as well as in an HTTP format. And the output is also so. So I've tried this as well, and it's a great tool to play around with to see how the model works and how the output is being generated. Yeah. And another way you can leverage what's Granite models is through Ollama. And it's pretty simple. I tried this yesterday. I did from fresh. It was you can run the Granite 3 code 8 billion parameters, and it takes not too long to download the model locally. And once that's done, through this command prompt, you can ask questions and it generates the output as such. So this is not only for the 8 billion parameters, but you can do so for the 2 billion parameters and the recent Granite models as well. So it's pretty handy. Yeah. And one last thing I want to reiterate over is that why Granite 3.1 model outshines all the other models in comparison is because the recent model has a very large context window, so which is 128K. One thing that we struggled with in the past was to fit all our resources or all the input in a given context window. So the earlier models had 4,000 and 8,000, but with the new models, you can fit in a large amount of resources within one single prompt. And that's not only all, though it has a variable model size as well, which includes not only the embedding models, but the Granite 3.1 model. So you can choose between an 8 billion parameter and a 2 billion parameter, depending on your preference. Another good thing that I liked about it is that it's open source. And as you can see in the photo to the right, Hugging Face, there are different users who have come up with their own quantized versions of the Granite 3.1 model. So this is handy to test if these versions are lightweight or not. And it also supports multiple languages, and you can read different file formats as well. So we implemented that using the Tika library, and you can use agentic workflow. So instead of building all these agents separately, all of this is integrated within the Granite framework. So it's pretty handy. It's an all-in-one bundle. So yeah, that's why Granite outshines most of the other models, I would say. And yeah, that's us. Thank you so much.